Hey, I'm Joel with Power Stance Import Export, and thanks for checking this video out. It is for an eBay listing, but if you happen to stumble across it through a random YouTube search or suggestion and you have any questions about this vehicle or any other vehicles for sale on my channel, don't hesitate to give me a call at the number listed right here. Speak to me directly, or you can find us online, powerstanceimport.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram, Power Stance Import Export, and all our vehicles are listed on eBay as well. So, we're a licensed used car dealer located right here in Oxford, Michigan. We specialize in importing Land Rover Defenders, and thanks for watching. Hey folks, and up for sale today I've got a beautiful 1998 Land Rover Defender 110 pickup in Coniston green. This has the 300 TDI turbo diesel. It is a right-hand drive UK import. It has been legally imported. It's now located here in Michigan and comes with a clean, clear Michigan title. So let me show you the vehicle inside, out, underside, and we'll take it for a test ride as well. So again, this is the 300 TDI turbo diesel, 2.5 liter, 4-cylinder, great engine, one of the best engines Land Rover ever built. Injection pump looks nice and clean. I don't see anything leaking out of the valve covers or the fuel return lines or anything like that. Looks pretty tidy under here. And the bulkhead and footwells seem to be in good shape. This is a original factory engine bay decal, which is good, and you can see the top of the footwells there. Tiny little bit of rust right there, but all original, pretty decent shape. So the factory paint is still there on the bulkhead and on the footwells, so that's a good sign. Bonnet, pretty decent shape as well. I don't see any dents, maybe a minor dent right there, but other than that, the bonnet's in really good shape. Tiny little bit of rust there by the latch, but all in all, pretty decent shape. The sound barrier is still there in place. We do have galvanized inner wheel liners, which is nice. There's a good look at the passenger side footwells. Seem to be in pretty decent shape. Only minor rust on there. Heater box, that looks like it's either in really good shape or it's been replaced, but heater box looks great. Hoses, some stainless hose clamps on here. Looks good. We do have a newer gasket here on the timing belt cover, so this is at least timing belt number 2, which is good. We only got 120,000 miles on this vehicle, so not very many at all. There's your turbo. The EGR has been deleted, which is good. Some new hose clamps here on the intake as well. There's your water pump. I don't see anything leaking. I don't see anything dripping down the turbo side of the motor either, so the intake gasket is good. Now this vehicle is probably a cosmetic project maybe, or it's just a great off-road vehicle because it's not in pristine condition. It does have some scratches and dents here and there, and the paint's not in perfect shape, so that's exactly what you want if you're going to have this as an off-road toy. But it's in great shape other than that. And let me walk you around a little bit more. Tiny little bit of rust here. This looks like surface rust. That could be probably just repainted easily. A little bit of a rust bubble there on the bulkhead, but all in all, this is an original bulkhead in really good shape. Hasn't been welded or repaired. And there's your front outriggers, and then the bottom of the footwells there. Those have been replaced because normally there would be ribs right there from a factory one, so those might be galvanized, or no, probably not galvanized, but those have been replaced. The footwells have, so those are in good shape. And we'll get underneath the vehicle later. A little bit of corrosion on the door bottoms, pretty typical for these Defenders. Up at the top here though, pretty decent shape. I don't see any corrosion. Tiny little bit right there. So the doors are all in all pretty decent shape. There's been a small repair here on the door bottom frames, so the bottoms are in great shape. Door cards, pretty decent as well. Seat boxes have been repaired with new sheet metal. On the interior here, again, footwells are in pretty decent shape. So a little bit of rust there, but Nothing, no holes or any repairs needed. All original factory paint on here on the bulkhead seat boxes. We do have seat covers on these seats. They do have some rips in the seams, so the seats are covering those up right now. No headliner. So this is your basic bare bones truck here, folks. This thing is perfect for off-roading and camping and putting your gear. But again, no headliner. That could be fixed with some carpet or something, some automotive carpet. Alpine white roof, curved rear windows, which are real sweet. Sliding rear glass window in the back. Spare tire is mounted right here. Full-size BF Goodrich mud terrains. And these are 265 75s, I believe. Yeah, oh no, 285 75. So these are nice big beefy tires. A little bit bigger than stock, but they do run great. And as far as I know, no rubbing either. These are real deep dish wheels, and so no wheel spacers either on these. So these wheels are perfect for these tires. Front tires are a little bit worn out. These are probably maybe 10-15% tread left, so not too much tread left on the front tires. The rear tires, however, are in fantastic shape, and these are $400 tires, so real good amount of tread. You could probably get away with just replacing the fronts and have a good matching set. The rear bed, pretty decent shape. I don't see any dents where trees have fallen or anything, or large rocks have hit the bed. So the bed rails are in great shape. A little bit of corrosion again on these panels. These are all aluminum panels, so we do get some galvanic corrosion sometimes when the steel and aluminum come together. But all in all, corners are in great shape. Small dent here in the middle of the bed, and in the back you can see this bed has been used as a pickup, so paint is pretty much gone off of the bed. But again, all aluminum, so this isn't going to rust on you. Rear cross member in the rear, pretty decent shape. This has been replaced. Let me show you the inside of the rear cross member. So you can see right there where it's been welded, and then there's a good look at the rear cross member. Beautiful shape. This is where they normally get really rusty, right here. And you can see, nice shape, good sheet metal. And then we'll get underneath the vehicle later on, but here's a good look at the side of the chassis. Shock mounts, new shocks on here, newer at least. Small little rust hole right there on the body mount or bed, but not very structural at all. That just kind of doesn't hold the body up or anything like that. But yeah, there's a good look. There's a new middle outrigger as well. And then moving along here, same condition on the driver's side. Normal wear and tear for a pickup, a little bit of corrosion in the paint. Window seals look to be in good shape. And the driver's door, same deal. No corrosion really at the top of the doors, but a little bit at the bottom on the outer skins. And then the door frames themselves are in great shape and have been repaired professionally, so they are looking lovely. And again, seat box repair on the driver's side as well with new sheet metal. And here's a good look at the footwells. So that's all factory paint there. Tiny little bit of rust there in the corner, but all very manageable. Very good shape for a 25-year-old unrestored Defender. Here's a good look at the back side of the bulkhead, so you can see nice sheet metal there. All right, so we've got 120,000 miles on the clock. Let's go ahead and fire it up. Glow plug light does come on and off. She fires up nicely. Parking brake is engaged. Real smooth running engine. Probably needs an oil change soon. It's a little bit dark, but no frothy milkshake or anything like that. No blow by or back pressure, and no smoke out of the tailpipe. Okay, let's take a look in the back here. There's your 300 TDI rear axle with the disc brakes. Muffler looks to be in great condition. There's a good look at the rear cross member, the rear chassis. All beautiful shape, no rust or holes there in the rear. And then the outside as well, pretty decent shape. And then we've got your adjustable hitch here. And then driver's side, shocks and springs, rear drum brake, or rear calipers and discs, and A-frame ball joint, brand new. Okay, driver's side chassis, there's a look at the new shocks. Frame rails in pretty decent shape. There's a couple layers of wax oil on here, that's all this is. And so that's not rust, this is just wax oil. And this is not a chassis weld here. This is from installing a new outrigger. So this outrigger is new, and they welded it with these tabs on the side instead of welding it right here in the corners. So it's a little bit more heavy duty. And then there's the rest of the chassis, all beautiful shape. No holes, no rust on the bottom or any repairs necessary to the chassis. And then there's your rear axle. The Salisbury came in the 110. And then parking brake, rear center diff. Okay, passenger side chassis, shocks, rear axle. Bushings for the rear radius arms. Now the passenger side outrigger is original. A little bit of rust, maybe, but not too bad. Pretty decent shape. It has been wax oiled recently, and so the whole chassis is in beautiful shape. Bushings on the front radius arms, front outrigger looks good, and battery box also looks real good. A little bit of a repair here, but super solid. Okay, here we are at the front axle. I can see a new set of springs up front, which is nice. A little bit of surface rust on all these parts here. They need to be cleaned up and coated again. Swivel seals, that retainer ring needs to be replaced, but seals look to be in pretty decent shape. Dust covers are on the brakes, which is nice. Front axle looks nice and dry, nothing leaking out of the fill plug. New sump seal on the sump, which is nice. New oil and filter. And then swivel seal on the passenger side looks decent. And again, new springs on the front shocks. Chassis rails look good all the way up front as well. All right, folks, so let's take her for a spin down the road. Normally I'd be back on the dirt roads, but it's April and it's been raining and snowing and raining and the roads are horrible. And if you go more than 15 miles an hour, you break your whole vehicle in half. So we're gonna go on the paved roads today. And while we're waiting for a clearing here, wait a minute, right now. Okay, so let's go through the gears, the acceleration, steering, handling, and all that good stuff. So there's first gear, second gear. And again, this is the 300 TDI. Sounds like it's running amazing. There's fourth gear, 40 miles an hour. And that's 50. And there's fifth gear. So it cruises along nicely. Obviously there's no headliner, no insulation on the floor, so it's a little bit noisier in here than it could be. But it goes down the road nice and straight. And we'll get on the brakes here. Alright, so no shaking or squeaking or anything like that in the brakes. Brakes are nice and solid. And we'll go ahead and accelerate one more time through the gears. And I feel like no real rattles or bumps out of the suspension. Gear changes are nice and solid as well. I'm not feeling any kind of clunking out of the drive line, which is nice. All right, so here we go. first, second. Very smooth gear changes. And I'm dropping the clutch kind of hard, and I don't hear anything clunking, which is great, which means the universal joints are good, the drive flanges are good, and gearbox, clutch, everything good. So there's fifth gear. Temperature's right in the middle, holding. Fuel gauge is working, speedometer's working, everything seems to be working good. And this is your normal speed right here, 50 miles an hour. She's running great.